We also have Mrs. Narang, like I said, in the room. And Mrs. Narang, if I could request you to help us see how leaders who dare to challenge the status quo drive systematic changes. We've talked about structure. How do we bring about this structure here?
Meenakshi, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, because I think the potential of what is going to happen today is far beyond what I had anticipated, or what I thought would be the outcome of it. Right now, I'm feeling like Don Quixote. I feel as if I have lost touch with reality in the last couple of years, though I pride myself on keeping in up to date. And then I wonder who has lost touch with reality, whether I have lost touch with reality, or, with due respects and apologies, whether our leaders have lost touch with reality. I'm going to tell you a story, and that's a real story. It's a true story. About 3.5 years ago, I was put in touch with an NGO school and invited to join it. I thought that would be a wonderful opportunity for me to give back to society after all these years. And I thought that having been in education for more than 43, 44 years, it would not be difficult for me. I did my due diligence. I convinced myself that the school was a genuine school. It was genuinely doing good work. It charged no fees. It gave books, uniforms, 2 meals a day, all consumables, everything free of cost. And I thought, this is what I am meant for. But when I joined the school, very soon I realized what a humongous task I had taken on. All of you have been talking about schools and situations where there is basic technology literacy. Just having a computer lab with a lot of computers and a computer teacher who will teach you the basics of Word and all the other Excel and all the other tools is not adequate literacy, is not tech literacy in today's world. When I joined the school, the school was decently equipped with the paraphernalia of education. But the teachers, all of them honest people, sincere people, but still in the dark ages. They were still using the chalk and talk. They were still introducing writing even before speaking. There was rote learning without any connection to the real world or any understanding of the world around them and what it meant, whatever they are learning would help them to navigate that world. And technology was confined to the computer classes and what the computer teacher could teach. It didn't touch the rest of the team. Learning was happening, teaching was happening. I don't know how much learning was happening, and education was truly incidental. So I began by going back and talking to them about the history of how education had been sacrificed for parochial colonial interests. I spoke to them about the challenges of education post-independence. And I spoke to them about all the efforts that have been taken by governments, right from Kothariji to the present times of NEP and NCF, to deal with those challenges. And then I told them that it is up to you all to make a difference, because these are the people, that the children that you are dealing with are the bulk of the country. They are the masses. And if any change has to come to our country, meaningful, enduring change, it must come from this grassroots. It's up to you all to do it. And of course, they were fired and they said, yes, we will do it. Started with the basic first project of telling them what conceptual learning is, of making sense of whatever they are learning in the here and now. They're learning as for use in the present times, not somewhere in the future. So I started by asking the teachers. I said, you learned about nutrition and you teach about nutrition. Why? They said so that they can identify what is protein and what is carbohydrate, what is fat, and so on and so forth. I said, yes, but why do they need to understand that classification? And they said so that they can evaluate a meal and decide whether it's healthy or not. I said, why do you need to evaluate a meal? They said, because we provide the meals. We are the mothers, we are the homemakers, and we provide the meals, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we give our families the best that we can. And I said, and that is the reason why we teach nutrition. Can you find out the basic concept, the why of whatever we are teaching and to the students? You know, they were still just wading through the syllabus chapter by chapter, question answer. Jitna kitab mein diya hai, utna hi kafi. Just that much is enough. No more, no less. It was the first time that they were being jolted into a realization that that is the core only. As I tell them, that is only the salt and the rice. You have to provide everything else. You have to provide the vegetables, you have to provide the fat, you have to provide the oil, the taste, the everything. And they couldn't understand what I was saying. They wouldn't know how to research and find out all this. And then we started on a project of picking up one lesson at a time. And the entire team of 2025 working on that lesson collaboratively to find out what was the content, what was the basic concept of the content that they were going to teach. And once they started understanding the concept, it started making sense to them. And that is when we started using AI to find methodologies of reaching that concept. They had no understanding of interactive teaching, experiential teaching. These were words from some foreign language for them. Using AI, I think, is becoming a game changer in this school. Because gradually they are getting the confidence of telling AI, I don't understand this, explain it to me. You have given me a lesson plan where there is the flow, where there are activities, where there are tools for evaluating progress, for assessing, for evaluating everything. But I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to do with the outcome of what I get. I tried it. This is what I got. What do I do with it now? And a lot of the times they couldn't make sense of what AI told them, and AI gave them answers. And that it took me a long time to break the barriers for them to be able to share. I asked AI this, and this is the answer that I have got, and I don't understand it. And then they discussed and they added further questions to AI. धीरे धीरे जब ये confidence आने लगा, when they started to get this confidence that we have somebody whom we can ask anything, no matter how basic it is, and we won't be fools, we will not be mocked, but we will get an answer. And that is what began to make the difference. That is when the change started coming. And I think the difference is showing. We have bridged the gap. Till now, at least they are talking about all the tools that you all have been talking about. At least they are listening to that and hearing that. You know, we keep facing challenges, and these are challenges sometimes that they don't even realize. And I have to be very, very vigilant. They had a project, a school-wide project for, for establishing shared humanity. And they said that we will take up a few festivals and we will show how they are celebrated in India and across the world to be able to show to the people that all people have the same aspirations, they have the same needs, and they come from similar human vulnerabilities and human needs. And yet, we went to AI and we asked for a lesson plan for this, explaining what we were wanting to do and everything. And AI generated a fabulous plan for them. And yet, when I was looking at the plan, I began asking questions to show them that it was biased towards one religion. They had the confidence to say, okay, ma'am, let's go back and tell it to remove this bias. But in spite of that, uh, there wasn't that balance. AI did not have the emotional intelligence, the cultural sensitivity to create that balance. And that made me realize that we can deal with information. We can deal with content, but this requires a much higher order. And while the teachers have begun to use AI for a lot of things, these are the areas in which they need most urgent guidance. And for that, I have to go back to the basics. I have to go back to taking them to their experiences and to what they learned, what their family backgrounds is. I'm sharing this story because in all the discussions that we have had so far today, and I know there are a lot of people who are sensitive to what I am saying and they are working towards that. But I want to see a greater reflection of this challenge in all the work that you all are doing. I'm asking for much more support from you all to bridge the gap, as they say, using a cliche, between Bharat and India. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Narang. You've always, not just shown us light, given us examples of real life, but also left us with an intriguing question. So here it is for all of you to mull and walk the path.